All right, we at it. At least we got the lighting going good. We got the lighting going good. Got me a little light right with it. We get into it. We get into it. Next thing we need to check is the Wi-Fi. All right, let's see. Once we get going, once I see we popped up over here, there it is. It shows that I'm active. It shows that I'm active with it, and we can get going. All right, so let's read this disclosure. We got to take care of that before we start chopping up game. But disclosure. Please note that the following is not legal advice and is intended for informational and educational purposes only. Investing in securities carries a high degree of risk and can result in the loss of your entire investment. You should consult with a qualified financial advisor or legal professional before making any investment decisions. The information contained in this presentation does not constitute an offer or solicitation to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments. Any opinions expressed in this presentation are subject to change without notice. Please do your own due diligence and research before making any investment decisions. All right, so we tapped in. We're 8 deep right now. Let's go ahead and get it popping, get it going. My lighting is a little better. Got my lighting hooked up. So bit by bit, my setup is coming through. But King of Savings, thanks for popping in. I see you. Tracy Stewart, I see you. Thank you. Drop a few likes on your boy. But let's go ahead and get into today's trading recap. So today was a pretty solid play. It wasn't the most money in the world made, but everything about my trade today, how I alerted it, how it all came through in the Discord was all perfect. I stuck to everything that I do with my trading setup. So it's days like these where it's like, yo, you just can't help but be proud of yourself when it comes to this trading life. So we'll go ahead and go back to the beginning of the day. And I basically gave everything broken down with 3 potential plays, right? So I told the family, I told the community, yo, good morning. How are we doing with today with our trading? Currently, I got my eyes on SPY, QQQ, and Microsoft for potentially scalping puts, depending on how the current 30-minute candles close. So if you're new to my TikTok, I'm a scalper, and I rely on, or I lean upon, the 30-minute chart for my trading. I lean on that 30-minute chart. I know a lot of people kind of criticize me because when it comes to scalping, you think about the 1-minute chart, the 5-minute, or the 15, and that's not really my MO. My eyes can see things a lot more clear when I'm on that 30-minute chart, so that's what I use. So as I was looking at the movements between SPY and QQQ and Microsoft, it was pretty simple, nothing over the top. I just saw that they were probably going to have somewhat of a pullback after these strong bullish candles, this bullish momentum. And so I gave the contracts that I was looking at for each one. Obviously, if you're new to options trading, one thing that you want to be aware of is making sure there's a lot of activity related to your contracts. So you're looking at your open interest and your volume. And I ultimately landed on QQQ. That candle, the way that it closed the strongest to me. Obviously, we all know QQQ and SPY, they pretty much mirror each other. They follow like the same movements. And then Microsoft at the last minute started to act really funny. Like it really started to go off the rails a little bit, at least in that last minute before I entered into the QQQ puts right here. So, Mora Institute, thank you so much. I see you. Mora Institute says, don't worry about the critics. Keep doing your thing, bro. I appreciate you so much. I got to salute you. That means a lot to me. So here we go. I hopped in. Let me kind of move myself out of the way so we can get the full detail. I hopped into these QQQ puts. And like I said, if you've been on my lives before, I am a very, very, very conservative trader, so I didn't really need much. I went ahead and right away when it hit my profit target, I sold 10 contracts, and then I let 4 of them run. Now that, for me, is huge. I'm the type of person that likes to get everything out at one time. So it's been a big behavior change and a big step for me to get out of my comfort zone, to leave some contracts on the table to let them run to possibly get a little bit more profits, and not in a greedy sense, but just in a like kind of staggering and fading in and out of your trade. So I'm getting better and better at that. Yo, Samuel Bomani, thanks for coming through. Johnny Bushman, I see you. Everybody that's rocking with me right now, I appreciate y'all. So I didn't grab the exact screenshot for when I exited because it was in 2 stages, but these were the things that were pretty simple. I spotted my setup. I waited for my entry. I took some profits off the table. I let some winners run. This execution on today's trade was perfect in my opinion from top to bottom. Everything that that for me constitutes a good trade. And so I do use TradeZella. For those of you that are not familiar with TradeZella, it is an electronic journal It's a trading journal that can hook up directly with your broker. And so I usually get the screenshot on Robinhood when I exit out so I can show what the profit or the loss is. But I didn't get it today. But fortunately, TradeZella shows the overall trade because it's hooked up. So I can't complain. It was $158. Right there you can see that it was 9%. And it was a total of about 20 minutes. So I like it. I know, big shout out to Mora, who has encouraged me to just do my thing and don't worry about the critics. But I will say I do get a lot of criticism because people are like, why are you risking so much money for such a little reward? But the way that I always look at things is you got to remember the average American is not making $158 an hour, let alone $158 in 20 minutes. And so that was cool. And my stop loss was $88. So I was risking 88 to make double that or almost double it. So that is the long and short of the trade, but I always like to bring it up on TradingView so we all can see it real time and see what it looked like. And then, of course, I want to answer any questions that y'all may have when it comes to this particular trade, any ticker symbols, what to look out for. Of course, we got to make sure that we're logging in our trading journal. So if you haven't put your trades in your trading journal for the day and you took trades today, make sure that you log it into your trading journal, all right? Make sure you log it into your trading journal. So let's go. I'm going to close some of these ticker symbols or some of these tabs, and we're going to go take a look at QQQ because that's what we got in on today. I'll open up a new one, close that one. We're moving all around quickly, moving around quick with it. All right, so we want to look for QQQ. There it is. We'll open that up. Let's bring that down. All right, let's get this situated. I feel like I'm all in the way. We'll move me up a little bit. Bring this down right here. All right, so we can see. And I could have let it. That's always the case. If you've been on any of my lives, that's always the case where I usually get out and then we can see that I could have let it run some more to get more money. But here we go. So we had this dip that kind of had a lot of people, including myself, thinking that we were going to start off the day right away bearish. But that first 30-minute candle that opened the day shot up. And then the next 30-minute candle shot up. You saw that it didn't go as much, right? The price action showed that some of the buyers were kind of losing their strength right around here. And then when we got to yesterday's 50% level, right, we had an indication that the buyers, the bulls, are kind of going to give up. They had lost steam. And then it was on this candle right here that I entered the QQQ puts. This one right here, entered. I got 14 contracts. I took profits on 10 of them, and then I let the 4 run somewhere into this area. I could have let them continue to go and got some more money once it dropped below this area, but you never know what could happen, right? And once you get profits, why not just take them off the table? There's definitely been a recurring theme, at least for this era, these last month or so with a lot of traders, which has been, if you see profit, take profit. So that's definitely what I wanted to tag on. Love my ones. Thanks for coming through. Yo, Johnny Bushman, I see you. Let's see who we got. It looks like we're just rocking with Samuel. So Samuel, thanks for rocking with me. If there's any ticker symbols or anything like that you want me to take a look at, go ahead and drop it into the chat and we can look at it. I can give my thoughts either on the long-term investment side or the technical analysis side for some short-term trading. I am down for it all. Whatever I can do to give you value. But it's so crazy because I feel like on days like these where my internet is working flawlessly, right? And the lighting is good, the camera is good. TikTok isn't showing no love. Usually we get a lot of people rolling through here, but you know what? We still gonna chop it up. We still gonna get through it. All right. So, one thing that was on the table that I saw, which was from one of the members of my Discord. Big shout out to Project Limitless, real good tactician. Real good technical analysis. We'll create a new chart. Was this company ANET? That is Adam, Nancy, Edward, Tango. And he spotlighted this. So Project Limitless, when you see the playback on this video, big shout out to you. I want to just spotlight what he was looking like. This company just had their earnings. You guys know how I feel about earnings plays, right? You want to get in on the momentum on the back end, not be preemptive, not get into earnings plays before the numbers, because the market is liable to react in completely illogical ways when it comes to earnings. But here we go. Here's the company right here. And let me kind of bring this down, bring this up. All right. Nice. I like this look. I like this. All right, so this company had its earnings after the market closed yesterday. It looks like they beat on both the revenue and the earnings per share. But then today, they also had some more of that bullish momentum after kind of retracing or correcting, however you want to call it, from their announcement yesterday. It started off very strong, and it looked like most of the market started that way. So I'm thinking we'll take a jump back and to potentially look at this as a swing trade, right? So this was something that I thought was good. It's trying to approach its all-time highs. So I'm not looking to go crazy, but I'm looking for it to come more so into this resistance area, and then make its way back down to close this gap. The only thing that made me hesitant about this particular trade was that the spreads were so wide on the contracts. Some of the contracts that were either in the money or close to the money were $30 wide, right? And the way I look at spreads is if you want to get out of the trade immediately after you were getting in, let's just say you made a mistake or in the last moment you had a change of mind or a change of heart and you're like, yo, I don't even want to take this trade. If you wanted to get out instantly on that bid and that ask, you would lose $30. The spreads were $30 wide, and that to me is just a little too expensive for my blood. I usually like my spreads to be no more than like $5, so that was really the only thing that prevented me from getting into this trade. Other than that, I like the setup. Obviously, there may not be too much more room to run, but in options trading, it's currently at 291, and it could go up to maybe 300 or something like that. So that could be some decent coin right there. Yo, Debbie Cardona, thanks for coming through. I see you. So we're just rocking through, just talking a little bit about charting, things of that nature, doing a recap on today's trade. I appreciate y'all for tapping in with me. Appreciate the likes. So with that being said, we're going to keep it rocking. See if we could look for some other plays. See if we could look for what may happen or transpire in this month of May. Now, one thing that I'm also thinking about, make sure I'm not moved up too far out of the way. I'm going to take a look at Apple, because I'm thinking that Apple is going to continue to fall down throughout the month of May. It looks like it's trying to have some support right here after their earnings. So we may continue to recognize this gap as a level of support. But something is telling me as we progress through the month, Apple's going to continue to kind of fall down in here, at least into their Worldwide Developers Conference in June. So about a month from today. Then we might see this kind of ping up depending on what kind of announcements, what kind of new technologies, what kind of things like that Apple announces at that time in June. But with that being said, we're just coming through. So I'm kind of short-term bearish on Apple. You never know what can happen, because it even looks like even before then, this area was looked at as an area of support at one point, support and resistance. So you never know. I'm thinking that maybe if Apple breaks above this high that was created right after their earnings, then we could take some calls to the upside, something like that. Or if we develop a nice strong trend on the daily chart that's showing us bullish, that's showing upside momentum, we might want to take some calls. But in the meantime, I want to see how Apple kind of plays out on the daily basis before looking at a potential swing opportunity. I'll blow this up so we can take a look at it more. But yeah, so I think we're just kind of flutter around down here, especially because right now the market sentiment when it comes to Apple is very unenthused. Yo, Davis Hustle, thanks for coming through. The market sentiment, yep, user 828896164, I see you. Claude Lipscomb, thanks for coming through. Jay Dizzy, what's up? I see y'all, thanks for coming through. So we're just taking a look at Apple on the daily chart for some potential swings. I'm thinking that we're going to continue to kind of come down into this gap that was created after their earnings. And then we might shoot back up after their Worldwide Developers Conference in June, which is about a month from today. But as of right now, I'm more bearish in the short term than Apple, mainly because the market is not really enthused with Apple. They don't really like certain aspects, and we've got this gap to close. Now, over the next week, if we do develop a strong trend on the daily chart to the upside, then I might be looking to enter into some calls. And it could be, depending on how you look at it, it could be that way, right? It could be like we're already kind of making that trend. Even though these are bearish days, it could look something like that. So if we continue to kind of do this, I'll be greatly interested in getting into some short-term calls for swings, something like that. But yo, Liam's son lover, thank you for coming through. I see you. Who's all rocking with us? Who else is topped in? Flock Dizzle, what's up? MTG Millie. Yo, Flayland Surfer Dude. Yo, what's going on, y'all? Appreciate you for coming through. Just doing a brief little technical analysis on Apple. Yo, Pedro Henriquez, thanks for coming through. Zahi, I see you. What's up, Zahi? Okay, Celeb Star, what's up? What's up? So if you guys want me to do a quick recap on the trade of the day that I showed my community, I'm going to go ahead and do that for the few people that have just stopped through, and I'll keep it pretty short and simple. You guys all know that the indicator that I use every single day is the SSS 50% rule indicator. It charts out the previous day high, the previous day low, and then right in the middle, the 50%. And so opening up today, coming out of the pre-market right here in this area, we saw some strong bearish sentiment. And I think a lot of people, including myself, was thinking that we were going to have a very bearish day. But immediately, the first 30-minute candle was super bullish and strong. The next 30-minute candle was bullish, but you could tell that the buyers were giving up strength. And then this third bullish candle kind of gave up at the 50%. Oh, yo, Luciano Salvatore, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. So it was right around here when I saw, or at least I perceived, that the bulls and the buyers were losing strength. They were getting a bit exhausted, that I was letting my community know that, hey, right here is where I'm looking at potential contracts for puts for a quick scalp. So I'll show y'all really quick how I announced it. So there were 3 ticker symbols I was looking at, and I said currently I got my eyes on SPY, QQQ, and Microsoft for potentially scalping puts depending on how strong the 30-minute candles close. So I sent the charts over, really simple, drew some trend lines. These were the 3 ticker symbols, and then I also put the contracts that I was looking at. Luciano says lots of love for all traders. I appreciate that, man. That's the type of energy I'm trying to reciprocate. That's for sure, man. Type of energy I'm trying to reciprocate. So like I said, I put the contracts that I was looking at for each one. And then as I was on the fence, as that candle was coming to a close on the 30-minute chart, Microsoft at the very last moment started to get squirrely and started to behave kind of crazy. So I leaned away from Microsoft. And then I noticed that SPY was kind of sputtering. It was moving a bit slower than QQQ. And so I went ahead and then I got in puts on QQQ right here. I went ahead and told the team that. Now, normally, I usually get a screenshot on Robinhood or whatever broker I'm using to get my profits, but I didn't grab it today. But fortunately, I used TradeZella, which is an electronic digital trading journal that connects directly with the directly with your broker, pardon me. So I was able to show, it was a nice trade. I made a quick almost 10% within 20 minutes, $158. But the thing that was dope about today's trade was how I was able to stick to all parts of my trading plan. So the first thing was spotting my setup. I waited until I saw a setup. I didn't force a trade. Number 2, I waited for entry. I have a very specific kind of like methodology for entering my trades. I waited for that to plan out. Then I took profit off of the table. And then lastly, I let some winners run. And this is huge for me. I normally am the type to get all in and get all out. And it is me getting out of my comfort zone when I let some contracts run on the table. So I bought 14 contracts. I sold 10 to secure some profits. And then I let 4 of them run. And that was huge for me today. So today, super proud. It wasn't like it was a super banger grand slam where we made hundreds of percent or thousands of dollars. But this trade I really, really liked because everything came through to a T. All of it. Okay, Anthony Caldero says, y'all snag VST. I haven't. I didn't. Are you talking about the trade or are you talking about long-term investing, Anthony? Are you talking about trading or long-term investing? Y'all drop some likes for ya boy, please. Let's get it going. I really like the lighting. I got some good lighting going on here. Got the good lighting going on. So I didn't trade VST and I don't have it in my long-term portfolio. I want to go take a look at it, Anthony. All right, Anthony, is this the right ticker symbol right here? Anthony says, I've been trading it over the past month and made a killing good long as well. That's what's up. That's what's up. Let me know if this is the right one. Okay, for sure. Let's take a look at V. Ooh. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that was nice to start the day right there. Look at that. That is nice. So definitely, at least from what I'm seeing right here, first glance, the first thing that my eye spotlights was this strong bullish candle that blew right past yesterday's previous high. That would have been an indication for me to take calls. I would have been looking at that. And even though it kind of had the same setup that I saw with QQQ where the buyers were kind of getting exhausted, just seeing this strong candle, I would have got in for a quick scalp on these 2 candles right here. quick scalp, and probably would have made like the same type of money, the same play. That was good. But even if you held through this a little bit, you could have still kind of came up later on in the day. You just needed to have been very patient. I'm not too sure how you played it, Anthony, but that's the first thing I'm seeing. But I would want to take a look at the daily chart to see if we got some upward trends going on. Woo! Oh, it's earnings. They had earnings. What happened with the earnings, though? It's in red. The earnings, they missed their earnings per share, but they beat revenue. I wonder what was said. Because one thing that we're learning is that it doesn't matter if they beat or miss the earnings or whatever the numbers, right? Whatever the expected numbers are, it's all about their forward guidance. What does the company think about itself in terms of the future? That's really what gets the market excited or gets the market pessimistic. All right. Jonathan Dang says, you trade the strat. Not too much anymore. I keep the indicators on. The strat is one of the first things that really helped me make sense of the market, especially learning entries and exits. But in terms of my day-to-day, I really don't. I usually just keep the strat on just to keep my eyes sharp and to familiarize it. But in terms of explicitly and literally using it, I don't. And that's no knock to the strat. The strat is my heart. The strat is my baby. It was the thing that helped me get confidence in the market. But day-to-day, I do not use it. All right. Anthony Caldero says, Theta kind of killed it throughout the day. I sold at the peak almost. That's what's up. Anthony says, then got into S&P 500. That was the bigger news. All right. Appreciate y'all for coming through and rocking with your boy. I appreciate the likes. Thank you. Yeah, I like this upward trend. I don't know if most of the move is missed. We might have some pullback or correction based off of their earnings. Maybe in terms of the daily chart, if we start to see a downward trend develop, we might swing some puts downward, but I have to also familiarize myself with this ticker symbol, VST, the Vistra Corp. Yo, Dustin Breckley, thanks for coming through. Appreciate you. All right, Wave. I appreciate the likes. I see you, Wave. Dustin, thank you for the likes. And a big shout out again to Anthony for putting us on to this VST. I'll be taking a look at this on the day-to-day. Looks like we had a resistance level here. So I don't know if maybe the stock might come back to this after coming down off the earnings. Looks like there was definitely a nice bull run before earnings, so some of the insiders knew what was up. Dustin says, thoughts on TripAdvisor. Let's go see TripAdvisor right quick. TripAdvisor. So Dustin, are we talking about long term or just trading it for the short term? Yo, Jen, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you more than I could say in words, more than you know. Thank you for the follow. Thank all of y'all for the follows. Drag Racing 2020, thanks for coming through. Welcome to the live. Let's see here. Dustin is talking about swing trading Trip. Now, without Dustin telling me whether he's bullish or bearish, it does look like we've hit somewhat of a support zone. I'm going to quickly eyeball it and draw it out. Right in this kind of area. Now, this is a good example, Dustin. I'm glad that you brought this because it definitely corresponds with something I've been saying lately. Now, I like to mark my gaps with the white shaded area. So here we're looking at TripAdvisor, ticker symbol Tango, Roger, Intelligent, Patty. We're looking at TripAdvisor, ticker symbol TRIP. Now, the reason I'm glad Dustin brought this up is because way back here in February, when they had their last earnings, the market responded good and it created this gap. And the reason why I'm spotlighting it is it's my theory that I've been seeing more and more that when the market creates gaps like these, it represents an area where price does not want to be. So we can see after February, TripAdvisor pretty much stayed away from coming down into this gap. Normally, we look at gaps as in gap fills, which is the correct way to look at them, but sometimes it makes us biased to try to anticipate when a company is going to fill the gap, right? When that price is going to fill the gap. What I've been noticing is gaps are starting to show areas where price doesn't want to be. And I'm glad Dustin brought this up because, look, here we have earnings again, and the price still stayed away from this gap. It still stayed away. So I'm looking at this as a potential area right here, just above the shaded area as a support zone. So depending on how you draw your trend line, right, we got this downward trend on the daily that was formed, almost a week or 2 weeks ago, however you want to look at it. Once it breaks this trend line to the downside, and if it was still above this gap, I will look to enter calls. That's the way I will play it. But as long as it stays in this downward trend and we go into the gap, I would be bearish, probably looking for a potential entry to take some puts and then just keep riding it. But, you know, this many days have gone by, and even though these have been mixed days, I'll kind of zoom in because I know it's kind of far away. Let me zoom in for all of us. Even though these have been kind of like mixed days, right? We got a green day, a red day, red, green, green, red, red, red. Even though these are mixed, they still have created this crazy, look how clean this downward trend looks. Look how clean that downward trend looks. So me, in this downward trend, I would probably, like they say, the trend is your friend, be more inclined to trading puts, even though we come in down into this support zone. But looking for the moment it breaks this trend and starts to create that daily trend back up to the upside to look at calls again, which we might be there because we're down into the support zone. So that's what I'm seeing so far, Dustin, on that. That's what I'm seeing right there for TripAdvisor. Dustin says, even with the trading at $17. Did I miss a comment? Hold on. Did I miss something? Because $17. Let me see. I need to just focus on looking through the phone, to be honest. Did I miss something? Is there a tick? Oh, I didn't see this. Oh, my bad. My bad. I didn't even see this. Yo. My bad. Thanks, Dustin. I didn't even see this candle down here. Wow. This thing looks like it's in outer space by itself. Yo, look at this one lone candle down here. I didn't even see this. I got so zoned in and locked in at looking at this. I didn't even see this down here. That's crazy. That is crazy. Look at that. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so that kind of changes everything. That was my analysis before I even saw. I didn't even see this. I think I had it like that. Yo, Dustin, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody that's tapped in. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate that. Yeah, Dustin, I didn't even see this down here. All right, now, I don't want to seem like I'm moving the goalposts or he switched up his whole thesis. Without this candle, you guys heard me. That's how I will play it with this downward trend. Now that we're down here, and I didn't even realize this Lone Ranger down here, I would kind of wait to see. I mean, we got this bullish hammer, which is an indication, especially with the earnings being, it looks like the market reacted positively, even though they missed their revenue. It still was a bullish day. I would still wait for a trend to continue to develop on the daily side, maybe a couple more touches, right? And it's kind of hard because you only have one candlestick. So my step one, because I want to give all of us as much value as possible, especially for Dustin who asked, my step one is to kind of start drawing out a daily trend line to the upside to see if it adheres to it. Step two is to go back, and even though we know that historical activity and historical movements aren't, 100% guaranteed for how something's going to behave in the future, we could kind of get an idea of what to somewhat expect, right? And so the last time we were kind of down here, again, we had a gap. We had a gap that price didn't want to be at, and it gapped up. And it looks like, without me zooming in, we probably closed that gap. This gap was formed all the way back in December, and it looks like it's finally closed. So, with that being said, I would see, yep, it looks like we closed this gap, just about. This is that without me zooming in all the way, of course, just trying to keep everything on the screen. But without me zooming in, looks like, well, not quite close the gap, but it's trying to. So, I would wait for at least 1 or 2 more days to see if we trend up, 2 more touches on the line, and then ride it back up, especially since, it looks like the market reacted positively to its earnings. Even though it gapped way down, which is wild. So obviously the market makers, they manipulated and did what they needed to do to push this all the way down. Appreciate that follow, Dustin. Bab says, what you see on the NVIDIA chart. All right, so I hope that makes sense, Dustin. Basically, I would want to give it a couple of days to see if we're going to continue on this uptrend, draw that trend line. After touch 2 or 3, I'd be looking to enter into calls, and then I'd ride the calls until the trend line breaks. That's the long and short of it. We might even get a little bit of resistance that you might need to break through at this. Let me stop leaning, my head looking crazy. But I'm immediately looking at, before we move away from TripAdvisor, I'm immediately seeing like right in here a support and resistance zone, which we look at that. Oh snap. All right, which we kind of came up to, right? Look at that. We kind of came up into the zone. So yeah, and we closed this gap, it looks like, Mm-hmm. So that would be the long and short of it, Dustin. Just look for more development of that trend line upward, which this bullish hammer would be the strong indication for that. Maybe one more day and then get in. That's what I'm thinking too, for sure. No problem, man. I appreciate you dropping this on us. I hadn't even had TripAdvisor on my radar, so that's a good one. Big shout out to Dustin. All right, back to Bab, who was saying, what do we see on NVIDIA? BAB. Or Bab. All right, here we go. So it looks like it's down to 898 in the post market, 900 around for the day. It looks like we're in this kind of support and resistance area. Nvidia's been having a hard time just kind of continue to break through to go to 1,000. I'm on the fence, man. I really am when it comes to it. If you drew like a broadening formation or maybe a pricing channel, you might be able to predict it a little bit. So here's the first things that my eyes are seeing, right? The first things that my eyes are seeing are, I know this is going to be kind of broad, right? But we've got like this. Hold on. Boom. Hold on. All right. We're looking at NVIDIA. This kind of support resistance zone. We are kind of in this upward trend, but it looks like we may be starting a downward trend, but you never know. The first thing, and this is even kind of tight to be a what do they call that? A price channel or a wedge. Got to fill the gap, so it might go that low. That's what Taylor Gang is saying. On the fence, I feel down to 820 in the next 7 days. I kind of feel that too. It's just kind of struggling, right? We came up here with so much power and then down. And then the power is about the same and then came down. But now look, less power. We're coming down. Power again, just kind of giving up. It's like the market is getting exhausted with NVIDIA. They do have earnings coming up, which is on the 22nd. So I'm thinking we might continue to come down a little bit so the market makers could do what they want to do, right? Let it drain down and then run it up depending on if the earnings numbers are good. I think right now NVIDIA might be in the same position as Apple, though, where they need to announce something crazy for it to really push up. They've got to announce like, hey, we've created another chip that we didn't tell anybody about, and we've already sold it to 500 million billion revenue or something like that. But we've started this kind of downward trend. And I would be thinking that we would come down, even down here to the 830s, 850, something like that. Y'all see what I'm seeing? Even something right around like this area where the bottom of these candles and these wicks are. I'm struggling. Why is this like this? Boom. Something like right in here. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, looking through the phone, but just to be more tangible, though, if I was to be more tangible, I would just start off with this, like, just drawing a simple trend line. And just kind of seeing if it kind of touches along the way to come down. But it's a little choppy. You just don't know, right? There's just, I don't know. I think we're going to have some more of a retracement, though. Jen says, did you already review SPY? I kind of did, but not quite. I'll do it one more time just to show what I was looking for on my trade today. Bab says Apple run by Crooked Cook. Yo, Bab says Apple's run by Crooked Cook who cooks his book. Why do you say that? What kind of proof? What kind of evidence do we have? I'm open to anything, but if you have some tangible, like, yo, look at this, it doesn't make sense, I'd be more than happy and willing to go take a look at it. Nick Midas, thank you for the follow. Quarantine 227, this is called Trading View. Let me show you. It is called Trading View. So it is a charting software. The platform is called Trading View. And Jen, I haven't forgot about you. We're going to take a look at SPY, and I'll analyze it in two ways. I'll analyze it from the play that I gave my community today, and then I'll analyze it more in a broader sense, objective sense. But to answer Quarantine's question, they want to know is Trading View. I don't know if you already know what it looks like, but let me go ahead and bring up the website so you know exactly what the right one looks like. Let me bring this. Alright, bringing it now. So this is what the website looks like for Quarantine. That's you. Quarantine 227. So just so you know, tradingview.com. Pretty straightforward. They have, of course, a paid version. There's a free version. But that's what I use for charting. And depending on what broker you use, you can connect your broker directly to TradingView and you can execute some trades there. I just hooked up Webull, but I didn't see an ability to do options trading, so I just got to take a look into it. I just connected Webull hours ago, so I got to look into that. All right, so let's take a look at what Jen is saying for SPY, and then a few people are talking about Tesla, so we'll get to Tesla after SPY. But let's take a look at the play. So I'm going to go back from the top and start from within the community. So this is what I told my Discord. Currently, I got my eyes on SPY, QQQ, and Microsoft for potentially scalping puts, depending on how strong the current 30-minute candles close. So I'm more primarily a scalper. I'm getting more and more into swing trading, but my natural inclination is to scalp, and I scalp on the 30-minute chart. Now, I get a lot of criticism, or not criticism, but a lot of people are like, yo, why don't you look at the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 10 minute, things like that, or the 15 for scalping? But when I look at those charts or those time frames, it really just, my eyes see too much noise. And when I landed on the 30-minute, to me, the way my eyes see it, it makes so much sense. I can see things clearer. But with that being said, I started off the day looking at the 30-minute charts, and I let my community know that I was looking at Microsoft, SPY, and QQQ. Now, of course, we know that QQQ and SPY, they pretty much move in tandem or a reflection or mirror of each other. Every now and then there's some discrepancies because of the tech stocks that really, really move QQQ, but for the most part, they move the same, right? So this is how the charts were looking. And now we'll go to TradingView, because essentially what happened with SPY is the same thing that happened with QQQ. So I put the contracts that I was looking at, and then ultimately I ended up getting in QQQ puts. Now here was the deciding factor, and I'm going to tie it in, Jen, when it comes to SPY. But the deciding factor that got me into the QQQ puts was at the very last moment, as that 30-minute candle was closing, right? If we look here, let me bring this up. As this 30-minute candle was closing, Microsoft started to act a little weird. The pricing started to get a little shaky. Even though it ultimately did the same thing as SPY and the rest of the market, it just kind of like was behaving weird. And then SPY was just moving a bit slower. And I've noticed lately, of course, as you probably already know, QQQ moves a bit quicker. It's a bit more nimble than SPY is. So when SPY was kind of being a laggard, that was my deciding factor to get into the QQQ puts. But as we know, they move the same. So we'll take a look. Let's go bring up TradingView once again. And we could take a quick look at SPY. And so just a reminder, you know, my lives, they're all about for the beginners. You know, I don't overcomplicate my trading. I don't overly use indicators. I like to just use some broad, like, few things to help me make my decisions, get in and keep it pushing. All right, let's break this down to the 30-minute chart. Boom. So one indicator that I do use every single day is the SSS 50% rule indicator. And basically it marks out the previous day high, the previous day low, and then right in the middle of the road, that 50%. And so this is at that 30-minute. So this looks just a little, yep. So of course, what we all saw, right? We saw this strong bullish candle to start the day. Now, the interesting thing was a lot of us, including myself, we saw this bearish momentum in the pre-market that was telling us that, hey, we might have a bearish day for SPY or the market because it's pushing down so much, right? It pushed down so much. But of course, right out the gate, this first 30-minute candle was bullish. And then we saw the next candle where the bulls were kind of getting exhausted. They were kind of giving up. And then this last candle, and it looks a little bit different on QQQ, but it's about the same thing. We could see that they were just about done when they got to the 50% from yesterday. And so this is why I use this indicator every day, because for the most part, ticker symbols like QQQ, SPY, the more popular ones, they're going to give some type of acknowledgement or respect to these levels, whether it's the previous day high, the previous day low, or the previous day 50%, which is what we saw here. So when this candle kind of gave up and bounced off of the 50%, that's what prompted me to go ahead to look to get into puts to scalp to the downside. And then we saw that, hey, it didn't necessarily want to break below the yesterday low, and then we kind of flattened out. And then we kind of saw the same thing with QQQ. Bab says you are a genius. All your predictions are so accurate. That is not true. I appreciate it, man. Every time Bab comes through, he shows a lot of love, but that is not true. Everybody knows that in trading, there will be times that you are wrong. There will be times that you lose money. I appreciate the love and the compliment, though. I really do, man. But I am not, Yo, Squill, what's going on? What's up? What's up? Wave Curtis, it's a buy a put. I did take puts. I appreciate that, Bab. Thank you so much. All right. Jamaican Princess, thank you for the follow. I see you. Jen, are you still in here? Jen, are you still in? Quarantine wants to know, do I have the paid version of TradingView? And I do have the paid version of TradingView. I've had the paid version for about 1.5 2 years now, and I just now finally am getting to the stage where I'm using some of those paid features. So do not feel like you have to immediately get the paid version, because it is kind of expensive. Push yourself to use all of the features on the free version, and if you get to the stage where you feel like you're constantly needing something that's in the paid version or the premium version, then pay for it and sign up. But I'll tell you, I had it for 1.5 years paying for it, and I didn't use any of the premium features. So just get in there, sign up for free, and push yourself to use all the free things. And if you get to the stage where you feel like free isn't enough, then sign up. But don't start off with the sign up. Okay, is Jen still in the building? Cool. So that was the overview of the play, but then I also wanted to give you, Jen, what I think about in terms of maybe short term. So here we go. We're looking at SPY short term. We got some pretty solid gaps that have happened over this past week. Very crazy. And it looks like we are starting a downward trend on the daily. So it looks like, Jen, we are starting a downward trend on the daily, and I'm keeping it very simple. I'm not knocking anybody who uses other indicators, but I've noticed for me, when I keep my analysis based off very few inputs, some solid, strong inputs, my trading performance is a lot better. So if you don't hear me talking about VWAP or parabolic SAR or RSI or MACD or Ichimoku clouds or any of that kind of stuff, that's just because when I get into those things, my trading really struggles and my performance goes down. When I just keep it simple, my trading is a lot better. But all power to you if you like those things. If they're a part of your setup, if they're a part of your edge, then by all means continue to use them. I just want to give y'all a heads up. That's the reason why you don't see them on my chart. It's just that for Curtis G, I like to keep it simple. But it looks like we're at the very, very initial point of somewhat of a downward trend. And so I would probably look for one more touch point on this downward trend before taking puts. We do have some gaps to close, depending on what created the gaps, like I spotlighted earlier. These may be points where price doesn't want to go. But I'm thinking, because we're in May, and you know the old phrase, sell in May and go away, we're going to see more of a downturn for the broader market for the rest of the month. And so we're ending this first week. I would say I would look for one more touch point on this downward trend, and then I would take puts and I'd write it down. Yep. Jen said she loves simple. That's what's up. Me too. Yo, 1111, thank you for the follow. Jonathan Dang says, I just got back. What are you talking about right now? I want to sign up for free. Cool. I'm glad you signed up for free. That's dope. Bab says your chart reading and prediction is as good as Carter of NBC. Gas to be up, bruh. All right. Bab says, what's your prediction on CPI next week? Ooh, I haven't studied it enough to give a prediction on those kind of things. I'm still in the stage where I'm reacting and getting used to those numbers and how they impact the market and what numbers kind of come at different times of the year and stuff like that. But you did remind me of something. I want to kind of, recommend something for everybody. Give me just a moment. I don't know if y'all will be able to see it, but there's this book called The Stock Trader's Almanac that I just got on Amazon not too long ago. And this goes through all of those kind of things, like how over history, right, going back decades and decades, how the market typically behaves during certain seasons, certain months, if it's an election year, if there's a recession, if this industry is doing good, if there's conflicts in the world. This book has been really, really powerful. It's called The Stock Trader's Almanac, and it just has all this data about how the market behaves and performs historically, like looking at patterns. So, of course, like I said, there's that old phrase, sell in May and go away. But we're also in an election year. And you know that when it's an election year, the president, the powers that be, they want to do what they can to prop the market up so it looks good for them. So if you needed just like a little added resource to give you some things to think about or to consider, it's this book on Amazon called The Stock Trader's Almanac 2024. Small Bags Daily says send it back. I will post the digital version now. Oh, thanks so much, Small Bags. Big shout out to Small Bags. This is what I love. Look at the community helping each other. Yeah. So I'm not trying to get you to spend unnecessary money. If Small Bags has the digital version, Go ahead and take the digital version. That's what's up. All right, let me see if I missed anybody. Jonathan Ding says, oh no, I'm asking, where do I sign up? You talking about sign up for my Discord? Or are you talking about sign up for my community? The link is in the bio. Yo, lovingly, or is that love NY? Lovingly Melodor, thank you for the follow. User 3151929538176 says, what platform are you using? So this right here is a charting platform called TradingView. Small Bags Daily, are you still in the building? Yo, thank y'all for the likes. We're almost at 800. Thank you for the likes. Small Bags Daily, are you still in the building, bro? Yo, Letitia, I see you. What's going on? Thanks for coming through, Letitia. So to that user 31519, this platform that you see in front of us is called TradingView. El Jose, thank you for coming through. Asha Renee, thank you. D, what's up? What's up? Small Bags, if you're still in the building, thank you for that. I'm going to be looking for the digital copy too. All right, what we got? So Bab wanted to take a look at Meta. Let's take a look at Meta. And despite what Small Bag have been saying, y'all, I'm not a genius, or maybe I shouldn't downplay it. Maybe I need to have the confidence in myself. But I'll just put it like this. First and foremost, I can't express it enough. Thank you, Bab, for the compliments. It really does mean a lot to me. But I will say, as we all know, that sometimes we make a mistake with our analysis when it comes to trading. That's just the nature of the beast. Losses come with the territory. The best thing that we can do is minimize our losses and maximize our wins. So I just want to reiterate that. But we're taking a look at Meta. I want to start off on the daily chart. Looks like we're climbing on into some gap fill territory. I mean, right off the back, we've got an upward trend, a nice one that's already been kind of charted out for us. Even though we may have missed the move, right? If you're looking at this from a daily standpoint, even though you may have missed the move, boom. I always like to draw the upward trend lines with a green, just to kind of keep everything right on the same page. And we have another factor to consider, that Meta may want to close this gap. Depending on how you draw your trend line, I would continue to follow this trend upwards until it breaks the trend. That's what I would do on the daily chart. I will follow this up until it breaks the trend, because it looks like it wants to close this gap from its earnings. So that's what I would do. My biggest concern, though, is like I said, and this is my biggest concern with any time I'm looking for a swing trade idea, which is we are in that whole sell and may and go away. Now, the market makers, their whole thing is to get us to think something is going to happen and then flip it on us. So maybe they want to present this idea or keep us on edge that there is going to be a sell-off, and there may not be one in May. But the long and short of it is we've got two things going on. We've got a nice solid trend line to the upside on the daily chart, and we also have the fact that it looks like Meta wants to close this gap. So that would, in and of itself, would make me enticed to want to get in. Depending on if you want to set this as a profit target, I would double the amount of time on the contracts. So if you kind of calculate and you think, okay, it may take 5 days for it to close this gap, or 4 days, double that time on your contracts. That way you give yourself some breathing room on theta. Small Bags Daily says, been in Meta calls twice this week. I got to tap in with my bro. Yo, y'all go check out Small Bags Daily. That brother right there gives a lot of game, a lot of good value. Good dude, good dude. I appreciate you, bro, so much. Appreciate you. Yep. So, just a reminder, Small Bags Daily said you don't have to order this from Amazon. He's got the digital version on deck. All right. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss anyone? We did Meta. Thank y'all for the follows. Did I miss anybody? Do I miss anybody? Yeah, Jonathan Dang. If you look at my bio, there's a link right there. We would love to have you, bro. Come on through to the community. Everybody come on through. Everybody come through and join. It's a good time. We're having a party in there. Smallback says, check your DM. I will. For sure. Uber down to 59. Did Uber do earnings today? Was that today? Is Uber's earnings today? I know they had earnings coming up. I know somebody wanted to take a look at Tesla. So let's look at Tesla really quick, and then I want to go check out Uber. Tesla, what's going on? All right, so it filled this gap. All right. Oh, not quite. It has a little bit more to fill this gap. Looks like we did kind of start. We broke this trend kind of. Did pop up a little bit. Then we came down. I should be drawing that. See, the thing about Tesla, I can't say never, but it's just, look at this. What is going on here? All right, so earnings created this big gap, and then it gapped up again. Now it's trying to close this one. Ugh. On the daily, oh, it looks like we're in a support and resistance zone, though. See, this is why it's important to zoom out. It's important to zoom out and really give yourself more time to look at. So we kind of come back down into this support and resistance zone for Tesla. I hope you guys can see that. Can y'all see that support and resistance zone? At least what my eyes see right in here. Me personally, I would just because my eyeballs can't really see anything too clearly, I would kind of wait and just kind of see if there's more of a downward trend that develops, because you can almost kind of restart it right here, right? Like, I'm going to show y'all exactly how my mind works and what my mind is looking at without getting into too much other, right? So we almost could have maybe somewhat of like a downward trend, depending on how you look at it, how far you put it out, right? That's somewhat broke. Or you could look at it like that, but, you know, if you wanted to keep it tight, it almost tried to fake you out if you're taking puts to the downward side for this pop-up, but we're coming right back down. So, you know, I'm seeing like a downwards trend. I know there's a lot of people that have leaps on Tesla calls. So there's some far out bullish sentiment for Tesla going into like January of 2025. But in the immediate, if we're just talking about like the immediate day, it just kind of looks like, you know, we've got this downward trend that has developed with a little bit of shakiness right here. For the next week or so, just to round out maybe May, I would be short-term bearish. But you guys have pretty much heard me say this over and over. Sell in May and go away. That's my biggest concern. That's got me moving with caution. It's just that sell in May and go away. Let's see who's up in here. Yep. Small Bags Daily. Yeah, big shout out to Small Bags for having that digital link on deck. So for those of you that are looking at Tesla for some very immediate short term, I'm thinking just to continue to let this downtrend form a little bit, and then take some puts, especially if it touches the line again, depending on how you draw your trend line. But maybe for next week or two, maybe some puts or something like that. Let's see. Yo, Lovingly, thank you for sharing the live. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. All right. David Fan, thank you for the follow. All right, we got a few requests in here. I see Netflix. I see T-Doc. Let's take a look at T-Doc first. I feel like that was the first one that came through. All right. Woof. We've got a strong downward trend. Why is T-Doc way down here? A straight gap down after some news. What happened? So this is Teladoc Health, which is already, you know, always kind of struggled a little bit. So we're zooming out on T-Doc, and it looks like it's in a, you know, it's a trip, because when you see a company that their stock price has gone down this much, oh man, oh my gosh. All right, so when you see a company, my bad y'all, when you see a company whose stock price has gone down this much, it always kind of like makes you think, you know, how much lower could it go? But look at just how far T-Doc has dropped. I mean, I don't know. If we're talking about trading this, especially options trading, I'm just bearish. Let's just keep it real. I'm just bearish. I would just keep it a buck. I am just bearish. I would just be bearish. Look, it's just bearish. That's all I can say to this. It's just bears in the building. Some public companies short-term report losses to do accounting manipulation for long-term. Oh, yeah. Michael G., thanks for reminding me. Because somebody did say that Tim Cook was cooking the Apple books. And I want to scroll back through and look at what they were saying in terms of what their rationale was. What proof did they have? I'm trying to see. Dang. Apple sales was down 25% and no recovery. But Crooked Cook says China expanding and BSM for AI chip. Oh, you didn't like the AI chip? Well, I'll tell you this. If you guys missed my live the other day, I have a whole episode on my YouTube about the Apple AI pump fake. So I just dropped it yesterday. You can head over to my YouTube and see my video about it. I did somewhat of a short analysis on the Apple AI pump fake. So I kind of see where you're coming from that. Michael G says, look at Carvana. They cooked the books for a year before their growth. I agree with you there. I do agree with you. Having had some experience, not just on the trading side, but literally doing transactions with Carvana, I definitely know what you're talking about. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Man. Uh-huh. All right. So I got to puts all day. That's what Brian says. Yeah, just T-Doc. We're looking at Teledoc right now. Ticker symbol Tango David Oscar Charlie. That's T-Doc. I just went back and zoomed back on the daily chart. Like, we can't even change this to the weekly, right? We're looking at the daily. Let's change it to the weekly chart and just look at how, I mean, damn, excuse my language. It's just like bearish. They're gonna short this. What I've been looking or researching it, I'm imagining there's some shorts on this company to oblivion. I mean, is this when it IPO'd? Hold on, my bad. Let me just look through the phone. Is this when it IPO? Oh no. All right, it just more needs to come through here. But we're getting back to 2016 levels. So I just looking at this, I would just be short. I mean, I would just be short on it, unfortunately. Sometimes it's kind of sad. You don't necessarily want to see companies go out like this. But yeah, we're coming to break down in here. Yep. All right. Yo, Zen Wifrey, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. What are we going on? I keep seeing Crow. Is Crow a cryptocurrency? Because it's not popping up on Trading View. So I'm imagining that Crow is a cryptocurrency. It's a token. Michael G says shorting at 12 makes no sense though. One is short when a stock has a high number, not low. I agree with you, Michael G. I do agree with you with that. But the question becomes, what would be the catalyst that drives up Teledoc? You know, yo, Project Limitless, what's up? So earlier, if you were at the beginning of my live, I gave a shout out to Project Limitless. Definitely a great technical analysis, a great tactician. So a big shout out to Project Limitless. But Michael G, I feel you. I'm not disagreeing with you. My only thing when it comes to Teledoc is, without us going to look at some websites that will tell us how much short interest is out on Teledoc, my question just becomes, what would be the catalyst that prompts it to push up? You know, are they going to announce something, a new partnership? Are they getting more revenue? That's the only thing that I don't see. Just looking at this chart from a technical analysis point and just seeing that they've been in a decline for all this time, it lets me know that there's something going on with the business model that the market doesn't care for. The market is like, whatever. And so, just like I was trying to say a moment ago, I kind of got distracted, but that's one of the things too, right? When you see a company that has come down so much in price, look, Teledoc at one point was in the hundreds. Teledoc at one point was almost at $320 a share. And now we're way down here. So one thing that comes to my mind, right, is you'll say, well, how much lower can it go? How much lower can it go? And unfortunately, it could go $12 lower. And so the question becomes, what would the catalyst be? So Michael G says, T-Doc acting like Carvana. Don't short, makes no sense. You short when the stock has a high number. You buy when the stock has a low number. I feel you on that, Michael G. But when you're talking about long term, I feel you, right? But the question becomes, and you know, I'm not trying to come off giving off any like salty energy. T-Doc was at its high in February of 2021 and it's been declining ever since February of 2021. So my only question is, what would be the catalyst that makes T-Doc go up? Because the market sentiment would have to change. There would have to be some bullish sentiment. So what would make it go up, right? Are we getting new sales numbers? Are they getting profits? Do they have cash flow? Outside of the stock being low and it being cheap, what would prompt investors or traders or the bulls to come through and buy up the company? All right. So yeah, if you could just kind of touch on that, I'd appreciate any wisdom or any insights, any knowledge that you have that would speak to um, what would push the stock up. But for me, seeing that we are continuing to drop and even possibly dipping low, I would probably be taking puts. But if you have any insight knowledge or any experience that says, well, they're getting ready to announce this, or their numbers are growing, or they just expanded, or something like that, I can see where you're coming from. But I just don't see what would push the company price up. So I see you saying it doesn't make sense in terms of getting puts, but I just don't know. You want to short a stock with high numbers, not low. I get you on that. I hear you. I understand you. My question for you, Michael G, is what would push the stock to go up? What's going to have T-Doc go up again when it's only been in a decline for 2 years? Exactly. Yeah, Project Limitless said it. Maybe he said it in better words. It's about the fundamentals of the company, right? It's the same thing that's kind of happening with Apple. A lot of people aren't happy with the fundamentals, which is why the stock has kind of been struggling, right? The numbers in China, the iPhone sales are going down. Investors are getting unsure about Apple, and as so, they're kind of becoming bearish when it comes to Apple. But yeah, I would definitely be interested. We'll keep it moving. But Michael G, definitely interested. If you have some specific insights as to what would push the company stock price up, I'd be interested to hear and take a look at it. Like I said, I'm all for learning. I'm all about expanding my knowledge, but without us going to look to see if there's anything on the horizon that will push the stock up, I don't know how Teladoc is going to recover. All right, what else we got? Who else we got? Let's see. All right. What else we got here? Oh, Michael G said, well, you're spot on there. When you look at the chart from 2022, the time to short was above 100. What else we got? Corey Barron says, do you think Toyota will go lower? Let's go take a look. TM. Let's take a look at Toyota. Look at Toyota is at 200 plus at $230 a share. So we're taking a look at Toyota. Now I like to start on the daily chart because I'm, want to look at maybe some day moves or maybe some potential swing trades, something like that. Let's see. Little choppy. I don't like when stocks move like this. I really don't like when stocks move like this, but to a degree, right? Just keeping it simple, just checking it out. We had this kind of trend line upwards, if you will, that finally broke. This is just a rough trend line. And then now it looks like we're starting this downward trend, but we have this bullish hammer. So let me draw one more. Something kind of like this. And, I keep it very simple, y'all. So I'm not using stochastic indicators and things like that. And I'm not knocking people that do. But what I would like to see, and we kind of saw this with another ticker symbol. I forgot which one we looked at. But what I would like to see is one more break. If we break this downward trend that was kind of formed, right, on this daily chart, if we break above it and close above, forming a new upward trend, then I would be a bit more bullish on Toyota. It looks like we just had earnings, so this might go into it. Earnings, they beat on the revenue and the per share. So yeah, so it might be having some bullish sentiment. So just a quick recap of my approach when it comes to earnings after burning my hand so many times. A quick recap on earnings is we try not to play the move before. I'm pretty sure a lot of us have that experience with getting burned with earnings, getting into a play. You've done somewhat of an analysis. You guessed the right outcome, right? You guessed that they were going to beat revenue. You guessed that they were going to beat earnings per share. But for whatever reason, the market didn't react bullishly. The market reacted bearishly, and the price went down. What I say is, after the earnings numbers are released and we see some momentum, then get in with that momentum and let it carry you in either direction with the trend. So my thoughts are, when it comes to Toyota, is they had the earnings numbers come out. They got a nice bullish hammer. they were kind of forming a downward trend over the last 3 days. But if we break above this and close above this, then I would kind of ride that upward trend back up to the upside. That's my thoughts, just the long and short of it. And then, of course, you want to map out maybe some profit targets, right? Some support and resistance zones as to where the price might get into a little trouble in terms of some resistance. Small Bags Daily says play the reaction on earnings or straddle. All right, Tesla. Oh, you know what? Just something popped in my head, and maybe that's where me and Michael G were differing. I think he's, I said short in terms of puts, because with puts, you could just, if it goes down a little bit, you'll make money. Not short in the sense where you're buying shares. All right, whoa. All right, hello. All right, so sorry about that, y'all. Whenever you go live, sometimes TikTok is like, hey, are you there? There's inactivity. Hey, what's going on? We noticed this, we noticed that. And I'm like, yo, let me cook a little bit. But I don't know if maybe that's where we were having a difference, Michael G. When I was saying short, I just meant like betting against and just taking puts, not necessarily buying shares in that regard. That's what I'm talking about. And I think that's might have been what our discrepancy was, where we weren't hearing each other. Small Bags Daily that says that's short selling. I was just saying bearish. Maybe that's the words I probably should have used, was getting puts and things like that, being bearish on the stock and not necessarily short selling. That's what I should have said. Anna James in the building. That's what's up. Yo, King J. Thanks for the follow. I'll be trying to get it with y'all usernames, but it'd be so hard sometimes. All right, what's up, Anna? What's up? Did you trade today? I feel like you were kind of quiet today in the community. Didn't really see you. Yo. Bab says, as a prosecutor, I tell all Wall Street crooks all good things come to an end. All Wall Street crooks. My puts got cooked on Toyota for Corey. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Were you playing earnings, Corey? Corey, if you're still in here, were you playing earnings on the Toyota? Did you get into it before the earnings was released? Yo, Anna, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And let's take a moment right now just to remind everybody, if you haven't already, go and log your trades from today into your trading journal. Make sure we make that a part of our daily habit and our consistent habit, us logging our trades into our trading journal. You want to make sure that we're doing that. Do not skip out. Do not become inconsistent. The number one thing that we want to do, whether you won, you lost, you made money, you lost a little bit of money, whatever the day was for you, log it into your trading journal. Make a note of your emotional state. Make a note of your psychological state. All of those kind of things you want to make note of so you can identify some patterns if you start to see changes in your trading. So just a reminder to everybody, go log your trades into your trading journal, please. Corey Bryn says, hopefully it goes down by Friday. We are kind of like, if you zoom in on it's a Toyota, outside of this potential bullish hammer, which is a bullish signal, we have started this downward trend. The only thing about it is they beat earnings and it looks like the market might be reacting positively to it. Tomorrow will be a good day to analyze. Do we continue this downward trend, or do we break above and stay above this downward trend line and start to move back up? Tomorrow and Friday would be good days to really analyze. Anna James says, why hold to Apple calls? They already made the bullish move after earnings. I have until next Friday, so just going to see what it does in the next week and a half. Oh, snap. Yeah, I held back today because I'm still holding a call on Apple. It's burning me, LOL. I'm holding, though. How much do you need to trade contracts? It depends. It really can range. I don't want to sell any dreams, and I don't want to make it seem like you have, you need to have a crazy amount of money. But you could start with anywhere from $500 to $1,500, $500 just to get you going, something like that. Not saying that each contract is $500, because you can find contracts out there that are $20, $30, $50, $60, $70, things like that. Yo, Quack Sniffing, thanks for the likes. Thanks for the likes. ER Shop Vine. So I hope that answered your question. That's always one of those kind of like broad ones to try to answer about how much you need, because everything is very subjective and relative. But you don't need a crazy amount of money, but you kind of want a decent little pot to start with so that you could get some tangible gains and some impact to your winnings. That way it keeps you motivated. ER Shopfine says, do you day trade? Yeah, for the most part, I day trade. I'm what's known as a scalper. So most of my winning trades are 10 minutes or less. I'm in and out in 10 minutes with profits. I'm trying to get better at my swing trading so I can find more plays for my community. And I feel like I'm building up my skill set bit by bit. But yeah, for me, I naturally am a scalper / day trader. Do I have a course? I do, but I don't really pump it. I do have a course out there. I don't really promote it that much. And I find that, when I first made my course, I was super excited. But then I realized that the market changes rapidly. The way people learn changes. So I don't really like to even promote the course at all. All right, Quack Sniffing, I see you, man. Let me take a look at WAVD. WAVD. Oops. Wave dancers. Looks like they went crazy for no reason. Was there news? Was there earnings or something? Look at this crazy bullish candle. What caused it to go up like this? Yo, Quack Sniffing, do you know why they had this crazy candle today? It looks like this stock is currently at $3.15 a share. Project Limit says, yo, Curtis, check out Humana on the 1 week MACD super bullish calls for 2026. Have you made this your day job? How did you learn what you know? I haven't made it my day job, not yet. I'm working to become a full-time trader, but I do have a full-time job. So I'm pumping and pouring as much of myself into this as I can. But I'll keep it real. I'm never going to lie or make something seem the way that it isn't. I do have a job, and right now trading is like my side hustle / just building it up, getting better and better. Quack Sniffin says, nope, just finding interesting ones to hear your opinions. I appreciate that. Okay. Let me take a look right quick. I will say, y'all, I'm just happy the lighting is good and that the Wi-Fi is kind of behaving. It's been a rough few days trying to go live. It looks like that I had a technical difficulty over here. The first thing I would really be interested in is what caused this bullish run up on this company, Wave Dancer. Looking at it from a purely technical standpoint, we may be entering in here shortly at the 350 range, some resistance. We could be getting into some resistance at this 350 range, as we can kind of see from these candlesticks. Something like this. So there might be a little bit more bullish momentum, especially after a strong bullish candlestick on this daily chart. But me personally, what makes me a little uneasy is just that you don't really have a trend based off of this crazy candle, right? We had this trend right here that kind of was going up. We had this trend right here that was building up, but then it broke, right? It broke to the downside. Let me change this. So we had this trend, and I'm just quickly eyeballing it. But we had this trend that was going up to the upside, and it broke to the downside, and now we got this crazy bullish candle. So me personally, outside of this being technically a penny stock, I would just be waiting to see on the daily chart if there is a trend that begins to form. Do we start to go back to the downside, or do we continue to go up? I don't really consider this to be a part of any trend. We need to see some candlesticks after it for me to kind of get an idea. But even if we continue up to this upside, right, we've got this support and resistance zone here. So we might get into a little bit of like selling pressure, people taking profits, things like that. We might get into some trouble. So depending on how you're trading this, if you're buying a whole bunch of shares and you got the money and the capital, you could make a little bit more money if it continues to go up in here. But I would like to just see, the long and short of it is, I would like to see a trend form. I would just like to see a trend form. That's about it. And we got a little bit of insights from Project Limitless. Big shout out to you. Depending on the news, if this is a pump dump 360, then red all week V pattern. I feel you. Yeah. Yep. Yo, what's going on in Shakes? Thank you for joining. Thanks for coming through. We just doing some charting. We're looking at stocks, trying to see if we got any plays out there, any moves. Quack Sniff is saying same concept on CRCT. Let's take a look. All right. Yeah, what is this? Oh, this was earnings, though. This was earnings. All right, so that makes sense. They beat the earnings per share, but they missed the revenue. but it makes sense. The other one, I couldn't even see that there was earnings or anything, so that threw me off. But I'm thinking, like, just like how both of you are saying, we might just have a pump and dump, and this might just come on down. All right. So people are asking for SPY. So we looked at SPY a couple times. This is where we left off at, right? We had these two gaps, and it looks like we're breaking this upward trend, depending on how you draw your trend line to the upside, right? So you've got this trend line to the upside, a very narrow, very sharp one. It looks like we're kind of breaking the trend. Hold on. It looks like we're kind of breaking this trend. So what I said earlier when it comes to SPY on the daily chart, is another candle to the downside that stays on this trend. And the short term, I will be looking for puts, because it looks like we're broken. You know, these gaps may be looking to get filled. It looks like we're breaking that trend. Just keeping it like simple and plain. Almost look like an abstract double bottom, but I mean, kind of spotty. Yo, Juan Johnson, thanks for the follow. Of course. Appreciate it. All right, y'all, been on here for a moment, so I'm going to hop off. I'm going to tap back in with y'all pretty soon, but I appreciate all the love, everybody. Thank you for all the new followers. Tap in with us. Join the Discord community, Passive Income University. You get the first 30 days free, and then it's just $10 a month. But I'll see y'all on the next one. All right, y'all. Peace.